All right, West Virginia fans, what a hectic day. Earlier in the day, it was very slow. Earlier in the weekend, it was very slow. And within the last hour or so, things have really picked up in Mountaineer land of some commitments, guys that are going to be on campus, and some exciting things to watch if you're a West Virginia Mountaineer fan. So, on tonight's episode, we'll do a live show. We'll talk about the latest with the West Virginia transfer portal situation. We'll talk about a new coaching change. We'll talk about some of where their former players are going, and we'll break this down tonight on the JerseyEER show. Before we do that, if you're a West Virginia fan, please remember to like and subscribe to the show. I really appreciate all the support. With that being said, let's get into tonight's show. So to start off the show, this broke about an hour ago. Prince Strachan coming over to West Virginia, started his career over at Boise State, hit the transfer portal, and then went to USC, looking for a change of scenery now and looking for an expanded role, larger role with the West Virginia Mountaineers. Did not see this one coming, and this is what I was talking about a lot over the weekend. And I think a lot of us were hung up on, we're not seeing the guys attached to the visits. We're not seeing the tweets. We're not seeing guys on campus. And it was a little concerning. We had a lot of Group of 5 FCS and Division II players, but we didn't see the Division I Power 4 players on campus yet. That changed with this one. So that definitely, the vibe around the program changed with this one as far as I'm concerned. And this guy is Prince Strachan, like I said, Boise State, USC, and then just committed to West Virginia. So really big get if you're West Virginia. He's 6'5". So the 6'5" length is something we'll definitely take. Probably put him out there on the perimeter and just a big physical presence to add to the room. I'm going to show his highlights here. Just a guy that can catch the ball in traffic, and I think you guys are going to be super excited when you see these highlights from him. So this was a nice get for West Virginia. I think there's a lot of high upside in this player. Looking at his stats going back to Boise State, caught 12 balls that freshman season for 274 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then last year, he was on that team that made that college football playoff, made 25 catches, 304 yards, and 1 touchdown there. And then at USC, just never really got it going. I think he was injured earlier in the season and never saw the field. So now he's looking to come over to the Big 12, and West Virginia desperately needs wide receivers. And this is a really good start for West Virginia. As you can see here, what 24/7 Sports thinks of him, he's the 79th overall receiver in the transfer portal class as of right now, which I believe is ranked higher than Cam Vaughn. So people will be excited about that. Let's get to this dude's highlights. So again, 6'5", 212. And these were his highlights 2 years ago at Boise State. Again, nice length here, just a little glitch there. Gets down the field. Again, not afraid to go over the middle and catch the ball in traffic. Look at this. There's 3 guys there, but he's still going to go up and get it. And that's the type of player that we need right here. Just, again, using his body to box people out. And Boise State plays a very competitive brand of football. I absolutely love the Boise State brand. So I was excited to see this one. Again, a guy that can catch the ball and get yards after catch. I was listening before. I guess he hasn't been playing football that long either. He's came over from the Bahamas, I believe, as a youngster in high school. But still, with his frame, ended up going Division I. Looks like a load to bring down. So again, really nice player for West Virginia. There we have a few comments rolling in tonight. Mr. John says, "Hi everyone." Hi John again. 3rd night in a row that you're here, so that's awesome. Drumwolf, you made a live show. Let's go. He says, "Let's go Mountaineers. Happy New Year's. Spread the word of this YouTube channel." Hey, Drumwolf, I appreciate that, man. We've been growing, man. It's been crazy. The last few days with transfer portal season, this channel has definitely caught a lot of momentum, I feel like. So I appreciate the shout out. And excellent size. Yes, 6'5". We'll definitely take that. I know Rich Rodriguez wants to fix the size in the room, so this one will definitely help. So this one got me excited because I'm not going to lie, a little bit today I was a little bit down in the dumps with just the overall what was going down with West Virginia. I was a little disappointed. I thought we started off really slow, but this one got me excited right before we came on here, which was a good thing. So super excited about this one. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of articles about him, and you'll see the other creators put stuff out on him. But Prince Strachan is going to be joining here. Owen Chikarsky said, "What quarterback are you looking for in the portal?" So, oh, and there's a quarterback by Michael Hawkins Jr. from Oklahoma that was on campus this weekend, and his brother Malik was also on the campus too. There was a lot of talk about him possibly committing. That has not happened yet. He's a dual threat quarterback, Hawkins, who was a backup at Oklahoma, but saw a lot of playing time over the last few years, and Rich Rodriguez offense could do a lot of different things. So really appreciate that question. Jerry Justice said 6'5", Chris Henry senior size. Hey, that's a good comparison there. Not that he's Chris Henry, but the size. You know, when I think of Slim, when I think of Chris Henry, I think of that tall receiver that has that stride. So, like I said, I'm excited. You guys can hear it in my voice here. I'm definitely excited about this one. Nathan Brooks is playing devil's advocate. Good size, but hasn't played in forever. I want stars, Rich Rod. Hey, I feel it, but Nathan, you know, this is just the start, right? This is just the first few days, right? And we have a lot of stuff to fill. We just lost a receiver, Christian Hamilton, that we'll talk about tonight. And we've lost Cam Vaughn and we've lost Rodney Gallagher. So this doesn't necessarily have to be your number one receiver. This is just another guy to get into the room, but this is definitely a start, right? So we'll take him. I know he didn't play much last year, and I get that's a concern, but with the size and with his ability at Boise State, we'll definitely take him in the fold, in my opinion, if you're at West Virginia. The other commit that we had today was UNLV linebacker Isaiah Patterson. He's committed to West Virginia football. So this guy's a young guy. He has only been playing college football for 2 years. He redshirted the first year at UCLA. So the fact that he was Power 4 out of high school is a good sign and was in a Big Ten program. Ended up transferring to UNLV and did some decent things there. Played in 14 games, had 46 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, and a half a sack. He's 6'2", 210, and he has 3 years of eligibility left. He's ranked as a 99th linebacker in the portal. So, again, Rich Rodriguez out of a position that you need depth from. This is another good starting piece if you're West Virginia. Drumwolf said there will be more coming to Morgantown soon. Just be patient, fans. Yeah, I agree. I think we have to be patient. I know it's frustrating because you guys are locked in. Obviously, if you're watching this at 10:47 at night, you are locked into West Virginia and you want to see what's going on. And chances are you're seeing what the other schools are doing, and you're like, man, like what is wrong with West Virginia? Like, why aren't we getting top caliber players on campus? And for a while, it was a really slow start. And I think for West Virginia fans, this is a big offseason, obviously, because we're always worried about money. And with one transfer portal season and window, you have to make your hay now. So I think a lot of us do have anxieties, but I think a lot of us do need to be patient because look what they did with the high school class. And Rich Rod says he has what it takes to win here. And he said that on the record multiple times. So we do have to trust him. And we got two commitments today. One from Prince Strachan, and then next one, Prince Strachan, and then this one from Isaiah Patterson. Another UNLV guy that's going to be on campus, and this came out about 30 minutes ago. This guy tweeted it. Andrew Podrrell. I'm really excited about this guy, actually. A little bit undersized. He only comes in about 5'10", but I love the way this guy plays and flies to the ball. So he originally started at Montana and played down at FCS, and then last year made the jump to the group of 5 and had 63 total tackles last year, 41 solos, 22 assists, and he had 5 pass deflections. Then the career stats are from the FCS and the group of 5 combined. He's ranked as the 106th best corner according to 24/7 Sports. Want to get to this guy's tape because it's fun to watch. This was on his X page, and he's going to be on campus tomorrow. So about 30 minutes ago, he tweeted out that you can see on the graphic here, excited to be visiting West Virginia tomorrow. And he tweeted at Coach Rod. So that's exciting. So let's get into this. So this is his highlights when he was at UNLV. Again, just comes up and can punch the ball out. Plays bigger than his size, I think. Causes the pass breakup there. Coming off the edge, off the blitz, just flies around, makes a tackle in the backfield. We'll love that in Morgantown. I actually think On3 put a prediction of this guy being pretty much a lock to come to West Virginia too. So there's a good chance that this visit could go well tomorrow for West Virginia. And this is Andrew Podrrell coming from UNLV. Yeah, even though he's undersized, I like what I see here. Chases the guy across the field and finishes the play, which is what you need to see. You need to see 11 hats to the ball. Again, just comes all the way across the field. Again, plays man coverage there. Playing against good competition in Boise. Sheds a block and makes a tackle in the backfield. Get a nice pass breakup, just locks the guy down. So he was a starting defensive back for UNLV, and UNLV had a very good season this year, coached by Dan Mullen. So there's a chance we can get a package deal with both UNLV guys here. Man, he's fly. His ability to blitz is really nice, man. Just coming here. I think Zach Alley can have a lot of fun with this guy. Get a nice pass break up there. On an island here. Closes in nicely. There, you see him ripping for the ball there. But you know you're going to love that. Again, I love this guy. I just want to watch this guy blitz the entire time. That's where I really like to watch him is the blitzing right here. Again, locks him up in the end zone. So a lot to like, man. I was really when I saw this guy's highlight film, I was excited to show this. And the fact that he's visiting tomorrow, it's not just the fact that it's set up. I mean, he's coming tomorrow, is definitely exciting. Like I said, UNLV is a good solid program. They especially with Dan Mullen as their coach. Actually, UNLV just had Jaheim Joseph. So he chases this guy all the way through. That's the last play right there. So you got to like what he did there. So really nice stuff there from Andrew Podrrell. Excited for that. I got a lot of comments. Jerry Justice said, "What's the old saying? It ain't the size if it's the dog in the fight." Yeah, and you know what? At West Virginia, sometimes we have to take a chance on undersized guys. It just is what it is. You know, we're not Alabama, we're not Ohio State. So sometimes you have to take a chance. And I think film speaks better than size. I know West Virginia wants to have size in that room, and I think they've had size in that room with the JUCO guys that we've brought in and the high school guys. But this guy's a nice piece, a nice veteran to have in your room with a bunch of young guys, and we really need to fill in that room desperately. So, yeah, I'll take the small guys. Drummel said, "Go watch out for those ankle biters." Edward Batten said, "Let's go Mountaineers." And then we're just talking about dogs here. Got a Shih Tzu in a lab, doing attack the lab by the ankle. All right, good stuff. Next, this one is fun. This is Wes King from Wyoming. So a lot of Mountain West talk tonight. A lot of West Coast guys looking at West Virginia. I really like this one too, just based on this tweet. Wyoming offensive guard transfer Wes King took a visit to Texas on Saturday. His agent tells CBS Sports. Also set to see Kansas State and West Virginia. The 6'5", 315-pound King is a three-year starter and has never allowed a sack in 1,750 snaps. When I heard never allowed a sack in 1,750 snaps, that was music to my ears. We all saw the offensive line performance this year and how they couldn't pass protect at all. So the fact that this guy has not given up a sack in 3 years is something that we'll definitely sign up for. Now I know it was in the Mountain West with Wyoming, but you know we'll take it. So NCAA football has him as a 78 overall, which I find pretty interesting. And you might look at a 78 and like, yeah, so what? But West Virginia's offensive line, their starters were mainly around there last year. So this would be a nice pickup here. Could be a starter for West Virginia. And like I said, just based on his pass blocking ability, I think it's something to watch out for if you're a West Virginia fan and get him into the fold. Up next is another visitor that's going to be on campus tomorrow, Javis Mynatt, and he's Texas Tech safety. He is 6 foot, 195. He had 32 tackles. a sack, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and he had an 80.1 run defensive grade by PFF this season. So again, it's if you have between him and the guy we showed before, Podrrell, we have some guys that can come up in the box and stop the run if this guy commits. And like I said, On Three has West Virginia potentially landing this guy, and he's going to be on campus tomorrow. So this is another one to watch out for if you're West Virginia, and Javis Mynatt coming over from Texas State. So he originally played at Wofford, and like I said, he's 6', 196, and that's Javis Mynatt. All right, let's talk about some of the guys that never made it to campus. The unfortunate news, because there was some unfortunate news today. So yesterday on the live show, I talked about this guy Tavari Hampton, and I really loved his film too. He's a JUCO guy, and he's another guy that flew around and was like a human missile out there. And he had planned to come to West Virginia on January 6th. Well, we found out today that he doesn't come to West Virginia. He's not even going to take that visit, and he's going to the Big Ten. He's going to Purdue. He announced that he's 1,000% committed to the Boilermakers. So not going to spend too much time on him. Tavari Hampton won't be a Mountaineer. And then the other one that was disappointing was Gardner Webb All-Conference Edge Antonio O'Barry. He committed to Kentucky today. This one was really interesting because he took a visit to Ohio State the first day the portal opened, and then he was supposed to take a visit to West Virginia on Saturday. But news broke that he canceled his trip with West Virginia and had to reschedule it and then put Kentucky in. I don't know if that's the best look, and when I heard that, I had a feeling that this was not going to go well for West Virginia. So there's like a bunch of players in the portal. There's thousands of players in the portal. So it isn't a big deal. I know some fans are happy because Gardner Webb is the school that Ty French came from, and Ty French put up ridiculous numbers in the FCS, but then he could not do the same thing when he came to West Virginia. So again, you can look at it in two ways. He is picked up by an SEC school and was getting looked at by Ohio State, but at the same time, he's coming from Gardner Webb. So however you want to spin it, it doesn't really matter. He's not going to be a West Virginia Mountaineer. Didn't make it to campus today. And then we had coaching news today. Larry Knight, a longtime coach, is set to join the West Virginia coaching staff. This was first reported by Mike Osti. So WVU has brought in Larry Knight to be part of the defensive staff and coaching the defensive ends. Knight most recently served in the same role at Arkansas State and coached Temple, Georgia Tech, Tennessee, and other schools after wrapping up a playing career at Central Michigan. And this guy has a lot of coaching experience. He most recently coached at Arkansas State and was the run game coordinator and defensive ends coach. So right then and there, anyone that is in the portal for Arkansas State right now, you should probably go check out because there's probably a strong connection to this guy. So Arkansas State has some really decent players. I actually think their quarterback just went to Iowa State. So they're a good program. So look at Arkansas State going on 3, going 24/7, and look at some of the players that are in the portal. Those could potentially be guys that could be coming to West Virginia just based on their coach coming. And then before that, he was at Temple from 2023 to 2024, was also at Georgia Tech, Georgia State, Tennessee, and Cincinnati. So this guy's been all over Division I football, all over the country, and I really want to see what his connections can do if we can get more guys on the West Virginia campus. So that's Larry Knight. Looks to be an addition to the West Virginia coaching staff. And then speaking of connections, we know that Jay Boulware is now the new the new West Virginia running back coach coming over from Kentucky. I showed the guy on the right, Dante Dodwell. I showed his highlights the other day. Those were awesome. Haven't heard much about him yet, but keep an eye out for him because, again, his coach is now at West Virginia. This guy, Dodwell, played at Oregon, Nebraska, and then Kentucky. And then the new guy that jumped in the portal today is Jamarian Wilcox. And both these guys have similar numbers. Wilcox rushed for 590 yards and 2 touchdowns in 2024. And then Dodwell had 560 yards and 3 touchdowns for Kentucky this past season. So they've split the room there. Be on the lookout for both of them. Got to be honest, I haven't heard anything about these guys coming to West Virginia. Haven't seen anything as far as visits or commitments or where they're going. But just on the fact that Jay Boulware is the new running backs coach and these guys played for him last year, I think it's something you got to keep an eye on. So keep an eye on the Kentucky Wildcat backs, possibly coming to West Virginia for visits soon. Up next, we had some departures. Christian Hamilton decides that he's going to enter the transfer portal. He's not really lived up to the expectations that his career was set for. He was pretty highly recruited out of high school, played at North Carolina, and didn't do much, and then only had 2 catches for West Virginia this year. So I was surprised he didn't hit the portal earlier, if I'm being honest. And he decides to hit the portal now. I would think this guy's probably going to drop down a level and try to get more playing time at a group of 5 school, just because it hasn't really worked at the Power 4. So best of luck to Christian Hamilton. And maybe he saw some of the receivers that we have put on campus the last few days, because Strachan is not the only one. There's another guy from Kenesha State coming in, and there's another guy from Troy coming in Epps. So they're starting to load up on guys. So maybe he saw the writing on the wall and decides he needs to change the scenery. But either way, Christian Hamilton not going to be part of the West Virginia Mountaineers. And then former Mountaineers taking visits that we found out today, too. This is really interesting. So Hammond Russell, who walked on senior day, was listed as a redshirt senior. I didn't even know that he had eligibility left. Otherwise, I would have put him in my top 10 players to retain. He is set to visit Kansas tomorrow, his agency told CBS. And, guys can do what they want to do, and they don't have to be loyal to West Virginia. I totally get it. But one of my biggest pet peeves is when guys transfer and they transfer in conference. I absolutely hate it. Or I hate when they transfer to teams that we're going to see on our schedule next year. Like West Virginia next year plays Kansas. So if Hammond Russell goes to Kansas, he's going to be lining up against West Virginia next year. And I hate that. We saw it with Tony Mathis when he went to Houston. We saw it with Jared Bartlett when he went to Cincinnati. I mean, again, if they give them your best offer, I know their kids are going to do what they're going to do. There's no loyalty. It's all contractual. I get it. But, man, I just wish they would transfer to schools that weren't on our schedule, because then you can at least root for them a little bit. I mean, if you're going to play for the Kansas Jayhawks and join a Big 12 school next year, I don't know. Just don't like it. And then this one was surprising here. Dwayne Galloway has a visit set up at Penn State. So Penn State right now has been absolutely killing it. Got to be honest. They have the number 1 transfer portal class at the time of this recording. So they've loaded up on Iowa State guys, obviously, with Matt Campbell. Dwayne Galloway was a really solid player coming out of high school with a 4-star rating. So a lot of guys are going to take a chance on him again, just because of that pedigree that he had coming out of high school. Didn't really play much for West Virginia, but he's going to find himself on a visit at Penn State. So we'll see what happens there with Dwayne Galloway. And then I want to get to some posts of the night, and then we'll get into some comments here before we kind of wrap this up. So WVU Twitter, whatever you want to call it nowadays, man, it's really funny, man. When you follow it, our fan base is pretty funny. And I've been doing some new things where I try to find like 2 or 3 tweets, and I'll post them and talk about them, because the one by WVU Barstool Sports was hilarious today. And I think that's how a lot of us were feeling most of the day. A lot of us were just sitting around today, probably checking our phones aimlessly, saying, when are we going to get some people? Because, again, you're looking at West Virginia compared to Oklahoma State, and you're seeing Penn State and Virginia Tech and Houston and Colorado, all these teams, Texas Tech scooping up all these players. And then we don't really do much. We have like a D2 player that commits, right? And we're all sitting here like this. But now it's funny how it changes after, the last hour of the night before I'm about to record, how much it can change. So that was a funny tweet from WVU Barstool. And then Clark Johnson said, Rich Rod and staff in the portal right now pulling out all the stops. And it was like a sarcastic one. If you play NCAA football, 5, searching the social media is the least amount you can put into the recruit that you're following. So that was pretty funny. So funny stuff there. Let's get to some comments, and then we'll put a bow on this. Please remember to like to the show. All right, let me take this off. Let me blow mine up, and let's have some comments. All right, let's see what we got here. Pac was small. He had no fear. Yeah, Pac-Man Jones. I could watch his highlights all day. Drumwolf said, boo, Kentucky. Hey, Drumwolf, Kentucky. It seemed like for a while that Neil Brown connection was there. Kentucky has been throwing money around this portal season. I can definitely tell you that. So they've done some impressive things. And it seems like West Virginia, Kentucky could be battling for a lot of players moving forward. Dremel said Kentucky has a football team. Yeah, they do. They do. I know they're kind of irrelevant in the SEC over there, but yeah. Jerry Justice said Trey Lathan hit the portal. I heard get him back. Yeah, so Trey Lathan did enter the portal. Not sure if West Virginia is going to be in the running to get him. I would obviously love to have Trey Lathan back in the fold as a West Virginia Mountaineer. I think it's what the room needs. But I have no idea if he's interested in reuniting with West Virginia. You got to remember his coaching staff is not here. And if Trey Lathan came back to Morgantown, how weird would that be for him, right? Because everyone pretty much that he played with is gone at this point, right? Anyone from the Neil Brown tree at this point is pretty much moved on. So I think it'd be really weird for Trey Lathan. I think he was the leading tackler for Kansas this year. He's probably going to have a lot of options, so I probably don't see a reunion. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to have him, but I doubt it. Mountaineer Athletics said, agree, shouldn't be able to transfer to an opponent on the schedule the following year. Yeah, I think that's a rule. I think that's a simplified rule. It's almost like a respect thing, I feel like. I don't know. I'm not a football player, obviously. I'm a dude in Jersey that loves his Mountaineers that will put videos together when my kids are in bed. But I just think, man, I absolutely hate it. Like I said, it's my pet peeve. I hate playing against guys. I hated playing against Bartlett, hated playing against Tony Mathis. I hate playing against guys that were on your team that are no longer on your team. Absolutely hate it. Sam Brown from Houston. There's a bunch of them. So, he said, I feel the same way about playing against XWVU players. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. He said, Clark hit the nail on the head. Rich needs to stay getting the pen to the paper on these guys before others can. Yeah, I think that was a little concerning earlier in the day. Because again, there was Tavari Hampton and the O'Berry kid who they had a visit scheduled, but then didn't make it to campus because they took visits and they must have been aggressive, and that's what happened there. If we have any other comments, I'll answer them. If not, I think that might be it for the night. Oh, here, I was looking for this one from Owen Chikarsky. Old Cincinnati quarterback Sorsby commits to Texas Tech, shaking up the Big 12. Yeah, Texas Tech, man, the rich get richer. I think that's an upgrade from what they had. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Texas Tech. They've spent a lot of money. Obviously, they're going to double down. They see what they can do. They know that not having a salary cap right now with basically no restrictions, they have a bunch of oil money and they can go get the players that they want, and they're going to do that. So until someone stops them, they're going to continue to do it. So good for them. West Virginia is not in that scenario, but I think if you're a West Virginia fan, your expectations for this portal season is you want to finish in the top half of the Big 12. This is such an important portal season for us. And like I said, as West Virginia fans, it's almost like we're self-conscious about our fan base with money, right? We're self-conscious about our athletic department, how much money they're going to spend, because the narrative around West Virginia is that we'll never spend the money to get the players. We'll never compete in this environment. There's a lot of fans that think that since NIL started and since the transfer portal has started, West Virginia has not been able to compete. So now you have Rich Rodriguez who says he has the resources to compete. So now this is like, we have to prove it now. We have to have a good class here. We cannot have another year where we miss on the portal, where we overreach our players or we don't do enough. Because if we don't do enough here, you're looking at another losing season next year. And I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, I'm a prideful Mountaineer fan, and I rep us every single day up here in Jersey. And the last few years have been tough. It's been tough to watch our brand, our team, my university, my alumni, where I went to school, where I got my journalism degree from, and to see us stink it up like we do, it has been tough. And today, this weekend's been tough, not seeing us get started fast in the portal and seeing other teams do it. But at the same time, we're going to be patient. We should back this coaching staff, rally together, and that's all I got there. If there's any more comments, I'll answer them. But if not, I'm going to go watch the end of this Steelers game that's on behind me. Aaron Rodgers, 17-13, 5 minutes left. I'm going to go turn that on. Anyway, I appreciate you guys, man. A lot of people in here again. If you're new here, like and subscribe to the show. This is the JerseyEER Show. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully I'll have more commitments coming up soon. We have more to talk about. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Let's go Mountaineers.